This video is brought to you by anti-gravity lithium-ion batteries used by Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha and Monster Energy Kawasaki and many more teams. And you can use the same battery as Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, and others. Anti-gravity batteries offer more power and capacity than the competitors because they give you a larger lithium battery pack. But additionally, they offer features like the world's first batteries with built-in jump starting that will never leave you stranded. So check them out at antigravitybatteries.com.
Hi guys, welcome to Racer X, and you're staring at a 2023 GasGas MC 350. That's right. Even though the 350cc displacement has been around for a while, this is the first year for the GasGas brand to have that displacement size. So, kind of unique, a little bit different today. We're going to go out and test this thing. We're going to talk about what this bike brings to the table versus the Husqvarna and KTM, and where does it slide in on where you might want to spend your money. So we're going to talk about the older technology as far as the chassis and the engine, because the GasGas is working off of the older generation platform. And we're here at Glen Helen today, and we're going to see where this stacks up against Husqvarna, KTM. I have ridden both of those, and we're going to give you the information that you guys need to see if you guys want to spend your money on the red steel-framed machine. Okay, guys, wrapping it up here with the GasGas MC 350 2023 edition. I got my guy Jax Pascal. He's just coming off a 250 KTM. He's in the market for maybe a new color bike for 2023, graduating from the B class to the A class. So I want to cover two different opinions here. Jackson's coming off from a 250. Other guy that we're going to have here in a minute, Eddie Laret. He actually rides a Husqvarna FC 350, and I want to get his opinion on what this is like compared to the newer models. So, Jackson, you first. Coming off from a 250, let's talk about the engine. What's it like to ride for the people that maybe want a bigger size bike?
So, if you're coming off of a 250, you kind of know, especially coming off of a KTM or a Husky, you don't really have that bottom end, like, harsh hit that you might maybe get on a Yamaha, which this isn't that, like, right,
have a lot of like RPM response.
Yeah, it's not like insane, like it's gonna rip your hands off as you come out of the corner, but it's that pull that you really want. You'll pull out of the ruts if you're pulling your foot pegs through. You just get that extra kind of boost out of the corner that you don't get on a 250.
So just that little extra meat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then mid to top, it just keeps kind of revving out. It's not like you're getting your arms ripped off like you're riding a 450. It's not like you're scared to give it wide open. But a 250, you feel like you're shifting gears almost like a two-stroke. Like you need to be high in the revs. You need to be grabbing gears. Where this, you can ride it like a 450. You can run second and third gear whenever you need it. You can lug it on the bottom end, and you can let that mid to top pull. You don't need to just keep grabbing gears through the straightaways.
Yeah, so for me, when I ride a 350, specifically this GasGas, is you have the freedom, like Jackson said, to ride it like a 250. You can rev the snot out of it, or you can lug it a little bit more. Granted, you're not going to be able to roll third gears a lot. I'm going to ask you that in a minute, but I still can't run third gears in the corner with this. I think with some work, ECU, muffler, some fuel, that can happen. But for me, I still prefer to ride it like a 250, hard, upper RPM ranges, but just a little bit more meat. Like Jackson said, if it's a deeper tilt track for you East Coast guys or somewhere that rides really deep dirt, you'll have a little bit more. And for me, I'm a vet guy, so I already kind of determine what I'm going to jump when I get to the track. If it's something's too gnarly, I'm out. If it's something like, oh, I can probably do this out of a corner, this has enough power for you to do that, yet I'm not going to be getting whiskey throttle off this thing. So You've been riding a Honda 450 a little bit lately. Compared to that, it's not as much bike?
No, that's kind of what I was comparing it to when I was out there, like, riding Glen Helen, that start straight. Like, I'm coming down on a 450. I don't want to go wide open. I don't want to go wide open up the hills.
Dude, seriously, like, when you come up that start straight on a 450, your eyes I'll get blurry.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't get blurry on this?
No. Just my contacts.
Chassis-wise, you have a newer KTM 250 with the newer chassis.
Yep.
And also, so for me, it's a little bit more of a forgiving feel. We're going back to 2022, the older frame technology. I actually prefer this chassis out here on the West Coast. And when we did the KTM introduction out at Redbud, I really like the new generation chassis because it's a stiffer feel, and in softer dirt it feels better. So in some of these first impressions that we have, I get super excited, and I'm not, blind to say that I get really excited about a bike. It's my first day, and I think it's a lot better than what I think it is. And then I get home, and it's a completely different feel. That's kind of what I've been doing with the newer generation KTM and Husqvarna chassis. Out here, not as much compliancy. And then I revisited this on this GasGas, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's where it went. We have some more comfort, faster type of tracks where you're on the edges of your tires here at Glen Helen, and it's choppy. So, Jax, this frame, you've been on other bikes as well all week, but what do you think of the chassis feel?
It's out here, it's better than that new KTM for sure. You don't feel like you have that rigid feeling where you're kind of scared coming down straightaways, where you're getting on the edge of the tire a little bit. Like you're comfortable falling into a rut rather than just trying to set yourself up. But it's not, those of you that might have rode a Honda, it's not that feeling where you can just sit early, fall into the rut, and be comfortable all the way through. I found that I need to stand through the entries of the corner on this bike to stay comfortable and stay planted, and then sit down later. It's really good on the exit pulling through, but the entry of the corner, I feel like it's still that kind of rigid feeling.
Yeah, for me too, like I always get on a GasGas or a KTM and I can stand up longer versus my Yamaha or Honda for whatever reason. It just allows me to do that. Suspension for me, it's WP feel. It's going to take a long time to break in. Obviously, we don't have that much time on this air fork. 10.4 bar is stock. I'm 170 pounds. You're 170-ish, right?
Yeah.
Close. We go up to 10.6. We will do some baseline clicker settings over on KeeferInkTesting.com. You can check that out soon. But Jax, 170 pounds, riding this thing. You're familiar with WP air forks. What do you think?
I'm not a fan of the air fork, but when I first rode it, I just kind of went out, and I'm not really good with suspension. Like, I don't know much about it because I'm a 17-year-old kid. I haven't spent the time like Kris has. But, I just decided to just make whatever clicker changes I wanted to make. So
can you actually feel the difference when you do that?
I can, yeah. I go 2 clicks on everything. I can't feel a 1-click difference. So every time I make a difference, I go 2 clicks. So I always start with the compression. That's what I feel the most, and that's what I feel coming into corners. I don't feel a lot going down straightaways, which I feel like is more when I feel the rebound. But the compression is what I went with first, and I ended up just going 4 clicks stiffer on the compression. And I didn't even change the rebound. I changed it, and I went back to the base setting.
So there is some little things that do not come on the GasGas, like the KTM. It doesn't have an hour meter. Bar pad's a little bit cheaper looking.
Map button.
Yeah, there's no map switch. You can buy those things. As actually, you can install those. That's not a problem. But for me, what I do notice is lack of vibration. I don't feel as much vibration from this GasGas as I do a KTM. And that could be something to do with the clamps. Clamps are different, obviously. So for me, there is more flex within this front end, which obviously gives you some more comfort here on the West Coast. In the East Coast, maybe I want to stiffen that up a little bit to get some more front end positivity. But for me here, I like that feel. So these clamps and the bars that come on the GasGas have less vibration. Are you a big vibration guy? Do you even notice that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's one of the main things I notice. And now that you say that, honestly, the vibration's really good. Like after riding a KTM 450, especially the new one, there's a lot of vibration on that 450, and this has less vibration than my 250 now.
All right, so would you like to have or own a 350?
Oh yeah, that would be a fun bike. I'd race a 350 in Open Pro Sport for sure. Especially these amateur races, they're tight tracks, Loretta's, Ponca, like they're fit for a 350. Like I said, that 250 you get pulled down coming out of the ruts, and the 350 is kind of everything you need when it comes to power.
Well, I got smoked by a 350, so I know it works. All right, a man that is not a loss for words here, Eddie Laret. So I brought Eddie in this test just because he's been riding a Husqvarna FC 350, a 23, so the new chassis. He's getting ready to race the Vet National here at Glen Helen. We just stuck an FMF muffler on his FC 350. We have some suspension done. Obviously, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but I like having Eddie here just to get the comparison factor of what it's like to ride this bike versus the new chassis. So let's start there because I feel like it's going to be pointed out really quick. So this chassis compared to your new 2023 FC350.
Yeah, so here at Glen Helen today, the track's kind of a little tricky, but I actually felt a little more compliancy out of this chassis than the new chassis, which I think we kind of expected because the new chassis is a lot more stiff and rigid in areas. So this one, I just felt like I rode my FC 350 and then literally jumped right on this. So I have a direct comparison. And I came back and told Kris, I was like, wow, I felt like I could pick up the throttle a lot quicker in the areas of the corners where I kind of struggle on the 23. But yeah, I felt like the chassis was a lot more compliant for today's track. And it's so weird because back, like we all complained, it was so soft. And then now we have this, and now we're kind of like, well, shoot, it wasn't that bad because this is so stiff. So, but yeah, I mean, this chassis is good.
Would you like to have this frame on your white bike?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Especially for us out here on the West Coast, I guess. And when I speak for that, like we talked about, again, went to Redbud, rode the 2023 KTMs. I liked it. The dirt was really good. Had lots of traction. So the bumps are softer. They're taller, different than West Coast. So, again, when you guys look to purchase a new bike, consider these things, right? So the GasGas is not as expensive. That's a plus. A little bit more compliancy as a vet guy, that's a plus. We don't need the stiffer frames as vet guys to really push it into corners. Sure, would I like a little bit more lean angle traction? Yes, but would I sacrifice that for straight line stability? Maybe not out here. Maybe East Coast, I would.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a couple of sections on the track right now where you come down out of a rut and there's like 5 or 6 deep there pockets of mud because we just got a lot of rain out here. And on my 23, I'm kind of like butt puckered, tensing, like trying to find it and keep it straight through it. Where this thing, I just found myself coming out of the corner and I didn't even really look at it. I just went through it, and next thing you know, I was in the next corner. So, yeah, I think GasGas might have done a good thing by hanging back on this older chassis, kind of let those other two brands kind of work out that chassis and the bugs. And if you don't like the compliancy of that or the rigidity of that chassis, this thing's always available.
Engine-wise, we just stuck an FMF on the bike, but you've been running a stock muffler. The whole bike is stock. Any differences here in the engine between the new style engine?
Yeah, that I would say it would, if it would fit, which it won't. But I would say take that engine and put it in this chassis, and that would just be like pretty good because this engine's good. Front side's a little soft. Like I felt like myself coming out of corners, kind of laboring and having to get the RPMs up a little high. Where on that one, I felt like I have more roll out of the corner. It's got definitely a lot more front, bottom end grunt. Mid to top, it's not that much different. Maybe a little bit on the mid. I didn't really notice that much on the top end here at Glen Helen. So, but a chassis good. Engine, that's where
that's where you can feel the engine difference.
That's the difference that I think that hurts the GasGas versus the 23 models, KTM and the Husky. But for us vet guys, that's really not a bad thing. The only reason I would single it out on this machine is because this is a 350. We're racing against 450s. You need every ounce of power you could get. So that would be my only hindrance. If you're just a weekend moto guy, you're not a racer, but you are competitive. This is a great motorcycle to just jump on.
Yeah, for me, the KTM 350 side of things was one of the most fun engines I've felt in a long time. It had more bottom end, more meat in the mid-range, and it revved pretty good. This doesn't have quite as much bottom end for me, but I've ran older 350s with little ECU work, muffler, fuel, and it really wakes it up. It really changes the whole character of the engine. So for me, it's not that difficult to make this thing wake up even more if you guys decide you want that. Now, last but not least, you're a big boy. We know this. 225? 230. We're working our way down for the vet race, but soft. I mean, there's no way around it, right?
It's soft. Obviously, these bikes don't come with hour meter, so we don't know how much time Jax has put on this bike, but
which we recommend. You need to put an hour meter on your bike. We haven't done that, but that's one thing you guys should do when you get a new bike, if it doesn't come with it, is put an hour meter on.
Yeah, so, just like all three, let's see, I rode the KTM 450 and then I rode the Husky and this. and the 250F Rockstar bike. So all 4 of those bikes that I had brand new, believe it or not, we just pumped the forks up a little bit. Obviously, you can't get the shock to the right sag, so you kind of have to try to balance it out a little bit. But like I rode this right now, and I was like, it's not bad at all. What I really like about their production valving, it doesn't have that harsh feeling when you hit the bumps. So obviously, it's really deep in the stroke because of my weight, but it's not where like you hit it and it's just, it's not harsh. It's plush.
Not steppy.
Yeah, so as you hit the bumps, yes, you feel it, and it's more than what you want to feel, but it's not like hitting a wall. It's plush in and then comes back. So, we did some stuff on our garage build that we're doing on our 23 that we've been playing with that definitely, I think, is a step in a better direction. But, I mean, if you told me tomorrow, hey, you got to ride this bike for the next 10 hours, I could do it.
All right, there it is, coming straight from the horse's mouth. That wraps it up for the GasGas MC 350. If you have any questions about this bike, Kris at KeeferIncTesting.com is the email address. The door is open for you guys right there to ask the questions. And if you guys want to read more, get some more information, have some fun reads, 12 issues, Racer X magazine, $30. Get a free little gift when you do that. And it makes you a well-rounded person. You can read, you can watch videos on RacerXOnline.com. You can listen to us talk crap about bikes. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back more. We're going to do an MC 450 next, so stay tuned for more at RacerXOnline.com. See ya.